Some races are steeped in history.
Bone Crusher in front of me's won the derby.
Others are the proving ground of champions.
Ring the bell, Melody's back in town, and that is 14 Group 1's the all-time greatest winning Group 1 winner.
But this race, it's built on a dream, one that starts here and ends here. 1 year later, chasing a life-changing fortune. Who will be brave enough to taste the sweetness of victory?
To Bravery Born has won it. Too sweet, too good.
Will it be the rose among the thorns? Will the bourbon flow in celebration?
But it's too good. Damask Rose, bourbon proof is going to be too good.
Can a young lass capture the hearts of the masses?
The favourite delivers, Alabama Lass won it.
And will the Queen reclaim her throne once more?
Orchestral has bolted in.
With over $5 million up for grabs at Ellerslie on Saturday, dreams will be realised, fortunes won, and legends born. The road to riches starts here.
Yes, it certainly does. Hello everybody, welcome into our special Karaka Million preview on one of racing's biggest nights. We're going to deep dive into the 6 of the very best with our form analysts, and that's my opportunity to say hello to you, Bevan Sweeney. Plenty of Central Districts interest too this year.
Yeah, really exciting to have city horses in the race this year, and it's a little bit like being the 3 Ronnies with the 2 boys next to me to my left. If you told me 4 years ago, Pip, that we'd be running for over $5 million and $1 million up in bonuses on a Saturday anywhere in this country, I would have said you're kidding me. So it's a real sign that this industry is in a positive position.
Oh, it really is. And hello to you, Leith. I mean, even just one of the races, talk about the Group 1, the Railway. I mean, that's just mouthwatering.
Yeah, exactly. It's the night everyone's been waiting for. They've bought tickets, they're sold out, and the racing's great. And then you've got Sunday, their sales on Sunday start. It's going to be a great week.
It's been the race meeting I've been waiting for a long time. Just everything about January. I know we've had a really good Wellington Carnival with, you know, Telegraph, fantastic, which has been a great build-up into that railway, Thorndon, and then last week with the Wellington Cup. But this is, for me, January. This is the meeting we've been looking forward to. And isn't this great, eh? Us all being in the same room together for a change on the form.
Yeah, it makes a change. So let's have a look what is coming up. Of course, we're going to get through plenty. We'll be starting off, heading out to headquarters, getting the latest, of course, on conditions with Paul Wilcox, CEO at Ellerslie. Off the back of that, Holly Wynnard reflects on her million successes. Can she do it again with a couple of chances? Still to come, Emily Murphy caught up with Roger James to see if he thinks Orchestral can find her best again. And of course, the team will preview the full 6 card and try to find you plenty of winners. Please not dilly-dally. Let's get out to headquarters and welcome in Paul Wilcox. Firstly, Paul, thanks for joining us. I'm sure it's a very busy week. What has the track preparation been like?
Yeah, it's been pretty easy. We've got it well in hand at the minute, or definitely Jason does. So just at the minute, they're starting the verti draining. It's been verti drained with the 19mm tines last week, and at the minute you might even see the tractor going around and it's doing the finishing off. There's no more traffic on the track, so 30mm tines on, and the boys will finish that off on Friday morning, Friday afternoon at the latest, and be all ready for getting into it on Saturday, which we're looking forward to.
Wilco, Bevan here. A very good morning to you. Vision is a pretty special and exciting thing in this industry, and you've had that around the track and around this particular race day. How fulfilling to get to the point now where you run for over $5 million, there's $1 million in bonuses, and just so much excitement coming out of Ellerslie across the next 8 weeks or so. Yeah,
look, well said, Bevan, but be foolish to say it's me. A lot of people here that are pulling a lot of strings, and that's from you guys at Entain, obviously New Zealand Bloodstock and New Zealand Thoroughbred Racing. But yeah, we're looking forward to it, and probably the big thing for me, or which is making it really exciting, apart from Aidan having a starter on Saturday, is the fact we're going into the World Pool, which I think that's going to take it to another level, and just the eyeballs on it, the liquidity that will then come into the tote market. I don't think, well, we saw last year we're just shy of $10 million in turnover. I'm expecting that to blast north of that, and that's going to be great, removing the bias that I'm standing here at Ellerslie. It's going to be great for the industry because that money flows back in, and that's what it's all about, so really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Paul, Aidan here, and obviously that is a massive facet of this night, but obviously the racing people and us doing the form, we just want to know about track conditions. There is a bit of rain coming by the looks of it, especially Saturday afternoon. How thirsty will Ellerslie be, and will you put on extra irrigation leading in as well?
Yeah, 100% good question, Aidan, and look, we've got throughout this week, we've only had 10 mils, which with our track is nothing. Last night they put 20 mil on, just to keep the moisture in the profile there, and then we'll reassess today. We'll go out with our moisture meter and the going stick and the petrometer and have a look at it, and then adjust accordingly. But fair to say, because it starts after 4:30 on Saturday, we'll be definitely keeping the water going on definitely Friday night into Saturday morning to ensure that we've got that lovely surface for the horses. But probably the big thing for people to realise is the work we do with the machinery. That allows us to put the give into the track, which is then allowing the horses to have a really good action and stretch out on the track, which we've seen in the meetings that we've had here of late.
Morning, Paul. Look, hopefully those beers are getting cold and the wine's ready to flow. Can you give us one winner over the night of the 6 races? I know they're even fields and we're scratching our heads here, but you must have one there you can tip out for us.
Yeah, Leith, yeah, well said. The beers are definitely cold, and I can look across to my left here, and Dan, the cameraman, he's getting ready to test a few of those to make sure they're at the right temperature. But hey, look, I really like, after a last win here, going into enemy camp and being looked after his son Sam, I really like Too Sweet. Filly, yep, you mentioned before about the barrier, but because it's been a filly, or is a filly, I should say, the 2 kg weight relief, I think that'll be good. But look, you'd be foolish to rule out Te Akau. They've got a great record in that, specifically the 2-year-old race. So to the Bravery Born, look, those two are going to fight it out, but don't be surprised to see Vega for Luck as well. But for me, that's 3 horses. I know you asked for one. I'm going Too Sweet.
I was going to say, you've given us a nice little maybe trifecta there, Paul. Thank you very much for your time. We're looking forward to all of the action and seeing what Ellerslie's like on Saturday. Yeah,
Pip, thanks, and to the boys as well. We're really looking forward to it, and I'll finish with a bit of positivity and say, hey, the sun's out and it's going to carry on through to Saturday as well. So see you all here on Saturday.
Yeah, cannot wait, and we'll have a look what is coming up. Let's have a key look at the Karaka Million night. Of course, the gates open at 3 p.m. The first race underway at 4:30. Tickets are still available, but only GA. So if you want to get down, make sure you get involved there. You can head to www.aucklandracing.co.nz and secure your tickets on racing's biggest night. In the meantime, it's time for us to take a break. Off the back, we'll be having a look at the 2-year-old race.
The Karaka Million for 2014 set, let's bring it on.
You can't really go into racing thinking you're going to win Group 1s and Karaka Millions and everything else, but I mean, I was always pretty determined.
$1 million up for grabs.
I don't know why, but we've always had quite a bit of success Karaka Millions.
Ready, gates open, they're off in the Karaka Million. Way in ease, back to a clear last in the early stages. Vespa bounced out to lead early.
With Vespa, it was like almost like winning lotto. It's like, oh my God, did that just happen?
Vespa and Mark Duplessis with John O'Banner with the Karaka Million.
Without my partner Holly, you know, she has doted on this horse, you know, while I'm out playing golf and farming the handicap. She just lives and breathes him, you know, and a huge thanks to her.
With Scott Base, it was a little bit more like, yes. Done it again, that was quite cool, yeah.
Scott Base is flying down the outside. Scott Base ranged up, put us in front and got the money. John O'Banner and Haley Wynyard from Otaki and Scott Base with a powerful finish.
And I think we were the first to win the 2- and 3-year-old when they were both $1 million, so that was a pretty cool achievement for a small stable.
Easy kids, easy kids. Good boy. Good boy.
You right? Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You good? Okay. So we started in June. I was previously with my ex-partner Jono, but he decided to have a bit of a hiatus and play golf, so I took over the horses, and yeah, it's done really well. Come on, little nut. When it's a partnership and like with me and Jono, it was a real special thing, and then this time with me and Ryan. Really? It's worked out really well, and honestly, I couldn't do it without him. It's just great having that person to bounce off and to talk to, and him being a jockey and knowing what it's like out there race day. It's a big asset for us.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
We're working well together. We have little tussles and we absolutely love each other to death.
Ryan, would you lead the way? Jesus Christ!
There's different horses we get on with and there's ones we don't.
Good girl.
Yeah, you just got the cold shoulder.
Sierra Leone is a little madam in her own little way. She's her own woman.
Sings off its tits.
Well, she's not. She's just her. She's a little bit touchy just of life.
She doesn't like something, she's going to tell you all about it. She's not overly big, but the heart that she shows race day and how she can run through the line and do what she does, you can't help but respect her.
Field set, gates open, they're off, kicking up between them is Sierra Leone, but return to Cocker. He has bolted in on debut. Sierra Leone second.
Yeah, you got to love her. And Toretto, he's just typical boy. Nothing worries him.
Toretto's ranged up. It's going to be Toretto. Trained by Holly Wynyard. Ryan Elliott.
He rides Toretto race day, but he's a real mummy's boy at home. So I ride him every day at home, and he rides Sierra Leone every day.
When it comes to Karaka Millions, it's a big night. The pressure's on. Sierra Leone, she's the back marker that can come over the top of them. Oh, she's ready to rock and roll.
Isn't she?
You know something?
What?
Light on the feet.
Oh, good girl now.
Toretto, a lot can happen to him where he can overcome that. That's happened before and he runs really well. He's tough. Well, this one is like race video.
He's getting very arrogant, like he just doesn't care about anything.
Karaka Millions for any trainer in New Zealand is probably the pinnacle. You do want to have horses out there running on those nights, and to be able to win it, that's the icing on top, really, isn't it? It's just what we all do it for.
Really good insight there to, of course, both of Holly's two charges in the race, coming up with good draws, of course, yesterday out at Karaka. As we take a look at the market and see how it has shaped up pre-barrier draw, of course, to Bravery Born after the barrier draw, coming up with barrier 2, Bevan, 290 out to 330, because the money's coming for the Central Districts Raider and 2 Sweet, despite her drawing so wide.
That is really interesting to my mind, because if Te Aki, I believe, to Bravery Born can jump and find a spot more forward of midfield, then the drift is interesting, because 2 Sweet, with the amount of speed in this particular race, boys, it's difficult to see it getting in. I know they have been positioning just in behind speed, working through the week and letting the horse run home, but how did you boys see that drift?
For barrier draws is key component, isn't it? 2 Sweet, she's going to come in from one from the outside, maybe 14. Where does he end up? What do they do? I'm not sure. Look, I know it's, in the past there's been winners from the outside gate, but one thing I will say, Bevan, is the new track, it's got a bit more of a canvas, so you can sort of be 3 wide with a bit of cover, where the old track, if you're 3 wide, game over.
I agree with you, Leith, around especially the wide runners. It's a lot of speed out wide, isn't there? 12, 13, 14. Maybe Landlock is a horse who they might consider just changing tactics with. I don't know.
$1 million racer, are you going to change your tactics?
Well, then,
I don't know.
Then you get caught in this. You know, you get caught in like the 7 or 8 horses who are all going forward. It's a really busy, early part. And that's what makes it so hard for 2 Sweet. That's such a body blow, that barrier draw, right?
It is. I had her on top before the race, but just from 14, I can't have her on my top 4. It's going to need a good ride. We know how good Michael is, but she's going to need a lot of luck from out there.
Bevan, I'm keen to get your thoughts on this barrier draw. How did you sort of see it playing out, especially early?
I'm very similar to what you boys have got up there, but I think what we're suggesting to people at home is they will go like cut cats here, because it is grand final day. There's no tomorrow here, and those horses with speed out wide, they're not going to sit back and give themselves no opportunity to run past a smart horse. So I think they'll be positive. I agree totally with Leith. Probably the best position for 2 Sweet is 3 wide with cover and running into the race that way, but they'll be going quick here, and does that give the opportunity for a back marker to get into it?
That's going to be the question. Well, what about the history in the race, Aidan? Where does history say that they come from in the running?
Yeah, well, our man Stephen Hunt's actually given us a little bit of information here, and certainly you can see here, obviously, good tracks has been the norm here for Karaka Millions as well, and a couple of these obviously have been Pukekohe as well. So Velocious fifth, so you can see there's sort of a sweet spot around that middle, very hard to lead, and you've ridden in a few of these, Leith. It's not easy to lead and win a Karaka Millions.
It certainly isn't. There's going to be a lot of pressure. You know, it's $1 million race, so those jockeys, they just sort of overdo it sometimes. So yeah, the patience, you know, look, barrier draws are a number, but, you know, in the past, some of the tracks have been a little bit heavy as well.
Another thing is, you can see that they don't muck around in this race either, and that's going back into what you're saying about that they will be going hard for this as well. What about the road to getting to the Karaka Millions? What's been the best lead up in recent years? So Stephen, just talking about the Boxing Day feature, 2 of the last 3, Dynastic Tokyo Tycoon. Out of that race, Beldamon and Sierra Leone. Out of the Eclipse Stakes, New Year's Day, so last year's Velocious ran 3rd and had very good form around it. So 2 Sweet, Ladarada, Torito, Vega for Luck and Romanoff out of that. And then the key lead up, it's become a real key lead up, hasn't it?
Yeah, but 2 weeks out, I think this is a real race. We've got to be, the runners out of that race, I think one of those horses will be winning on Saturday.
Well, you just mentioned one of those runners might be winning on Saturday. Let's have a look at that race because it was won by To Bravery Born. Obviously some nice runs in behind, but I thought Bevan had have quite a bit of improvement off this, having not raced for a wee while as well.
It's just that they went back, he missed away, so like it's going to be a first 100 metres with To Bravery Born, because if he misses away from that gate with a lot of speed coming out wide, the position could be 4 or 5 back the rail. It'll be key about holding a spot with this horse.
Yeah, interesting. I would have rather myself been in barrier 5 or 6. Blake Shinley's a champion jockey, as we all know. Barrier 2, he probably doesn't want to be cluttered up on the inside. He'd probably stay 1 off the rail. Look, this horse here was massive. His trial before this was terrible, I thought, at Pukekohe. Look, I know it was only a trial, but look, they said he shows nothing race day. Track work, he's very quiet. Race day, he's a different horse.
Yeah, David Ellis saying yesterday when we asked him about, especially, I agree with you, I thought maybe back on the inside is not the place to be for a horse who doesn't have that early zip out of the barriers, but they're thinking they might be able to settle in the first 5 or 6 from there, and obviously a soft run, but then you're going to have to be looking at getting clear air. Sectionally very good, quickest last 8, 6 and 4 out of that race, second quickest last 200. The other horse was the other horse who was back in running, Dare to Price there, who needs a scratching.
He needs a scratching.
But the run was very good. Yeah.
He was very good. He's definitely a sort of outside horse if he gets in the race.
They must be confident. The way they did the barrier draw yesterday, they must be confident this horse can jump out and run, else they would have just taken 5, 6, 7 to give a bit of open air. Look, the CD Raider, Daylight Robbery, is a nice horse as well and got through the line. Now, he's drawn 9 and he'll sit in behind that very strong tempo, and maybe that allows a horse to run home in this race. We don't see it often. We looked at that graphic and what was it, Tokyo Tycoon, who got an amazing run through them, but generally it's a very smart 2-year-old who sits close to
2 weeks ago, that was his first time right-handed as well, so he got on the right leg. He's one of those horses that can just probably idle midfield if they're going too hard. He is a beautiful type of horse.
Well, I think the upside about him is just how willing he was. He was entitled to give it away then, but he really fought back and picked up second, so that's the upside.
Look, Gavin Cherokee said there's a fair bit of improvement. He had to get in the field and he snuck in pretty easy in the end. But look, there's a bit of a story to this horse as well, Daylight Robbery. He went to Gavel House online sale, and somehow Gavin managed to get it for 10,500. And
he said he put an auto bid of 12,000 on, got it,
yeah,
and he said in the video that they showed, the horse winked at him in the last minute, so he said he had to buy it after that.
Yeah, well, you have to, wouldn't you? Well, we've already seen that the 2 winners, or the Quinella from last year, came through the Eclipse Stakes. Let's have a look at this year's running, and of course, 2 Sweet, Aidan. You did see her just come straight across from that wide barrier and take up the front run.
Yeah, it's very similar to what we saw in that January 12th race, where, you know, it's easy to come from last in a 6-horse field because you only got to pass 5, you know, that sort of type of thing. This time, 2 Sweets only had to get past sort of 8 horses on the inside. This time she's got 13 on the inside. However, this was a dominant performance. It was clinical. It showed her class, and I think on this, really hard to beat. Ladarada was good. It's unfortunate that we don't get El Make It Good there.
Yeah, look, obviously, look, the plan wasn't to lead either. Michael summed it up pretty quick. He jumped out so good, crossed him, he had an easy lead, and it was a sprint home. But is it going to happen like that this week? No way.
Bevan, your take on the race?
pretty perfect preparation in my mind, apart from the draw. I've been looking all season to find that 2-year-old who just keeps on taking the right steps. We've seen it through the years. You look at Velocious and you look at it on the bubbles. They just seem to be the ones that were taking the right progression, and this seems to be the horse. If it had drawn a hole, then I think it'd run quite a short price favourite. First time to Ellerslie to win like that, I think stamps this as a quality horse. I spoke to Berg last night. This horse doesn't have to lead, so I don't think they'll be pushing to try and find the lead. If it gets cover, they're in a bit of danger from the Central Districts leads.
Yeah, by all accounts, his work on Wednesday morning, they were able to gallop not only the 3, or I think 4 maybe Tiako horses in the race, but also this horse on the grass. And by all accounts, very, very good work. Just out of that race, quickest last 800 was actually Toretto, which was an interesting one. La Dorada's run the quickest last 6, second quickest last 6, 4 and 2 with I'll Make It Good, really the other one.
And Chris Rudden, he's got a record in the race as well. He only bought the horse in book 2 for 50,000, so big heads up to him.
I think La Dorada's really dangerous. If I was finding you a speed map special in this particular race, I think La Dorada finds that perfect spot and doesn't have to do anything. Just sit, ride your horse in a nice rhythm. There'll be carnage, I think, happening around that particular horse, and if it can get one quick crack at them with Craig Williams aboard, thank you very much, I think it's pretty dangerous.
It's one of those horses that's going to sit just off the speed, and wouldn't be surprised it just goes bang the last 200 as well.
Yeah, Craig's not over here for a picnic, that's for sure. As we take you back to Boxing Day now, 2 runners we want to highlight, Baldemond and Sierra Leone, who was really eye-catching from where she came in the race. And interesting yesterday too, Aidan, that Mark Walker said on Sports Nation that they may look to ride Baldemond a wee bit quieter.
Yeah, she wasn't comfortable in front. Look, she looked like she was a winner turning in, and she didn't have that turn of foot. Look, she got round Ellerslie really well. She's a lovely big filly by Zoo Star. I think they paid about 400,000 for her, but yeah, they won't be leading. They won't. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop her out behind midfield.
Yeah, she's going to improve out of this. She's a work in progress. Really like what we saw from Sierra Leone there. Every start has been like that. She's been finding the line really nicely. She's run the quickest last 800, 200, second quickest last 6 and 4 of the race, but she's been good the whole preparation, right? She's just building to this. Yeah. And as we heard, the stable knows how to do this.
They do, and she's not overly big, but she's another one. She just comes race day. She's a different horse. She trolled up at Pokekohe before that race, and she was pretty average on the eye as well.
Just looks like a 3-year-old. Maybe into her 3-year-old season, she's going to develop into a big frame. I haven't seen her in real life, but she looks as though she'll develop nicely. But look, when I mapped it, I thought that she might be able to get outside Hello Romeo, and then those attackers from out wide might give her a bit of breathing space just off the speed.
She's got to jump out better. She's very slow away, but if she can use that draw and somewhere get in that midfield position, she's got to be a top 4 chance.
Yes, she does. Well, there's also an Australian raider, of course, Hello Romeo from the Hayes stable. We're lucky enough to have Will Hayes join us. Good morning to you, Will. Firstly, when did this race come on the radar for you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. We had this race on the radar ever since we nominated for the race series. So with the terrific prize money on offer, it was something that we always wanted to target.
Well, Aidan Rodley here. I'm just keen to get your thoughts on, obviously you've got form guys who would have summed it up. I know it's $1 million race in New Zealand and maybe a soft option, but what are your form guys saying about where your horse measures up in this field?
No, we think the market's probably about right. The horses that are up there in the market do have the good form. I do like how, as you'll comment, I was just watching your show just before we come on, the soft draw of the favourite might find him a bit further back than he wants to be at Ellerslie, and then 2 Sweets also drawn out wide and likes to be on pace. So from 7 it can be a little bit tricky in terms of where we tactically end up in the run, but we're very happy with the order that we present. We think if we run up to what we did at Bendigo will be a good top 3 chance, and with a good steer from Matt Cartwright, anything can happen in a big race.
Well, just looking back at the sources replays, he seems to have a reasonably high cruising speed that can put a bit of pressure on other young horses.
Yeah, he's tactically pretty easy in terms of he's a bit of a push-button ride, so he'll be there wherever Matt Cartwright wants him to be. So I feel like he might not be the most talented horse in the field, but he will certainly put himself with the best opportunity to run well. He's an absolute professional. He travelled over terrifically. We've been very happy with the order he's in, so he'll certainly run up to his best.
Morning, Will, Leith here. Look, good jockey booking, thanks for that. But look, I know the horse had a gallop on Friday at Ellerslie and Matt was really happy. He said he got on the right leg, so that's always pleasing. But you must have done a little bit of work right-handed back at home as well.
No, definitely, yeah. But firstly, Matt Cartwright's used to ride a bit for us in Australia before he came over here, so it was a good booking. Very happy to have him on board, and he knows our horses very well. So to have him on the track gallop at Ellerslie last Friday was really good. We do get to do a lot of work on the Sydney leg with our slow work tracks at Lindsay Park Euroa. We do work them, we call it Sydney Way, but we'll call it Ellerslie Way. And he has had a lot of practice on both legs. So we do like to think that we produce versatile horses that can go both ways. And for him to get a practice match last Friday will stand him in good stead for the race day.
Well, I'll just check your bookings because Leith has a knack of double booking his riders in these big races. Hey, have you found the next winner out there at Karaka? I know you're on this side of the ditch and having a look across the horses.
Plenty of good ones, that's for sure. I think finding the next winner is one thing, and then trying to buy it is another. That's for sure.
It certainly is. Well, thanks very much, Will, for your time. Wish you the best of luck on Saturday and also in that sale ring after that.
Thank you very much. I think we'll take all the luck we can get.
Yeah, Will Hayes there, of course, us Kiwis. We're hoping maybe they don't take the spoils, but they've certainly got a good chance with Hello Romeo. Let's hear for some other connections now. We'll start with Sam Burgesson, and Aidan just asked him how his three are tracking into the race.
Yeah, look, it's quite an open race. We think it's sort of hard, a lot of different form lines and things like that. It's sort of hard to line them up, I suppose, but we're really happy with our three, potentially four. They're going to have a gallop here on the rail tomorrow, just the one gallop this week. You know, they're pretty fit and ready to go. But to Bravery Born was really good. That's a really, well, historically been a really good form race, that sort of Twilight Sunday meeting race. He's bounced through the run. You certainly can't fault him. La Dorada was good in the Eclipse. Visor blinkers go on just to sharpen her up a bit. She's still a little bit new, but she'll take great benefit from that. And Beldamon will just ride her a little bit colder. She's obviously not a winner yet, but she's gone two really good races. Ride her a bit colder, and I think you'll see her hitting the line strong. She's a lovely, big, sort of scopy filly. Who seems in good form, and looking forward to seeing them out in the rail here tomorrow. And then obviously Dear to Prasia, he's on the ballot, but he was really good last time in the To Bravery Born race, and yeah, he's another one that's come through the run well and can't fault him. So, you know, fingers crossed.
Yeah, like I say, he's been around Ellerslie a few times. He's had a couple of gallops up there, and he really knows what he's doing and where he's going. So, you know, we think he's, you know, a genuine top 5 chance.
Look, really happy with him. We took him up on Friday for a look around Ellerslie. He's very professional. Rory Hutchings is riding him. He's very happy with him. And we just went nicely in company this morning. Didn't ask him too much. He's pretty clean-winded and pretty ready. So he's worked nicely and, yeah, happy as.
I think he can really put on a big race. We were really confident going into Auckland and got down on the fence, got a bit tight and squeezed, and doesn't really like being around the other horses. So he didn't get a lot of room, and I think he just spat the dummy a wee bit. But his work with the blinkers on has been way improved, just even in his pace work, so don't be surprised if he could turn his form around. He's a very fast horse.
Oh, it's hard to split them. I mean, I like Toretto, he's tough. Anything that happens, he can just cop it and get on with it, but she's probably a bit more of a natural 2-year-old and probably a slightly quicker turn of foot, so just hope they're both there in the finish.
Yeah, look, really happy with her, you know, since her first run right-handed, which was at Ellerslie a couple of weeks ago. She's stayed at Briley Park and done well. Sam Spratt come and galloped her for me this morning, and she gave it the thumbs up. So reasonable draw. Look, I'm happy as I can be.
Definitely would be, mate. It'd be a dream come true. Like, I'm still pinching myself. I can never afford a yearling normally under normal circumstances with that breeding. But I think he's peaking at the right time. He's got the right attitude, can withstand a bit of pressure, and I hope he's right there.
Yeah, we'll have to find out if he's given him the wink on race day there, Gavin Sharrock. All the form has now been done. It's time for selections. You're up first, Sweens. Who's your 4?
Sorry, Sam, but I'm going for Dad. I've got Royden to win the race with Too Sweet. Just looks the right profile to mine, even with the draw. I think it might be able to get on a 3-wide train going into the race, and just to me seems to be on the improve. Speaking to Royden through the week, the horse is absolutely flying. To Bravery Born, I think the first 50 metres key for that horse. If it can jump and put itself in the first half back on the inside, it is obviously going the right way. Hello Romeo, professional Australian with early speed there for me, and I think La Dorada is the smoky in the race.
Yeah, I'm on to Bravery Born. The Warriors have got a few little shares in the horse, so they'll be on course. They'll be, look, it was a cheap buy, 200,000 by Snitzel. We don't sort of get that very often. So, look, I think the Blake Shin factor, barrier 2, probably can see it sort of even starting a little bit shorter than the $3.30 at the moment.
Yeah, that barrier draw definitely gives it upside. I've gone very similar to Bevan. I'm going to stick with Too Sweet, despite that body blow of the wide barrier draw to beat To Bravery Born. I thought it was all around the family affair here, and I've got a top 4 with the Burgesson name in the back.
Yeah, it'll be a really good story. Well, look, that now completes the 2-year-old. The TAB 3-year-old we'll be looking at very shortly, and a man who knows how to win that, of course, is Roger James.
Here in New Zealand, the Karaka Millions race night and New Zealand bloodstock yearling sales are fast approaching. With that in mind, we came here to the Cambridge track to catch up with a man who's not only familiar with winning the Karaka Millions, but also sourcing Group 1 horses. Roger James, a very good morning to you. Looking forward to what is ahead here in New Zealand, the Karaka Million race night. What makes it so special?
Emily, it's not just a special race night in New Zealand, it's a special race night on the world globe now. And not just a special race day, it's, I think, one of the special sporting occasions that New Zealand has. It's just a party atmosphere featuring some magnificent bloodstock.
You're pretty familiar with winning a Karaka Million. What kind of horse do you need?
First and foremost, a pretty good one, but they've got to have a turn of foot. We've been lucky the last 2 years. We've had a couple of fillies that have had that, and Prowess was always a big physical filly, very attractive filly, was still maturing at Karaka Millions time.
200 metres to go, Prowess and the Intimidator. It's Prowess in front, Prowess holding, Wild Knight can't get her, it is Prowess! Prowess wins the Karaka Million 3-year-old classic.
Orchestral was probably more of a staying horse that had to be kept a little bit fresh to win a Karaka Millions, and so proved that she was a staying horse when she went on to win a derby, but 2 high-class fillies.
Orchestral's in front at the 100 metres, and boom, just like that, shut the gate. Eagle Technology, Avondale Guineas all over, Orchestral a class above them.
The countdown is on to the Karaka Million race night in a few days' time. For you, what's the pressure like with Orchestral in the build-up?
You know, there is pressure because she's an absolute class act whose form line looks bad, and we want to change that. And you know, we're going to go into it nervous, but we feel we've got her exactly where we want her. I was asked by an Australian scribe yesterday, do you think she's lost her enthusiasm for racing? I do not. I'm backing her.
Yes, and of course those colours will be in the 4 again in the TAB Karaka Millions 3-year-old was dealt with. An interesting preparation though, of course, compared to the others with him racing on Sunday. He's green, but he's clearly raw of talent.
It's a sort of horse that probably wasn't in the mix for this race, but you go bang, bang, you're in the mix, and when you saw this field, how it was sort of franking up a couple of weeks ago, I don't think there's any reason not to be there.
Well, there's only 13 runners. You're running for 1.5 million, and it was more of a trial. They always had this race in the back of their minds. He was a little bit green. He got a sort of there was a cider board there at the 100, and he sort of ducked into it. And George Rock, he done well to stay on, but he's got a bit something about this horse. Obviously, he's going to be the natural leader. They're not going to do anything different. So, look, I think he's a big winning chance in the race.
Yeah, obviously he's a work in progress, but there's so much upside. They're thinking he's a real NZB Kiwi horse, so this is a nice little stepping stone along the way. They weren't 100% sure where they were going to, but it always sounded like they were going to roll the dice, and why wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly, and he's come up with an ideal draw too in the middle of the field. As we take a look at the market this time for the 3-year-olds, and again, see if there's any movement. Yaldi, $7 now into $6.50. Obviously dealt with $8 into 6s. Bourbon Proof moving out slightly to $4.50. What do you think of the market, Swains?
Look, Damask Rose, I think if she gets a really good track, that brings her right into it. Maybe a bit of second up syndrome last time. Yaldi, well, he's not the finished product either. 7 into 6.50, dealt with a fair bit of support there as well. I'm quite keen around, and we'll talk more about it. When I first saw Tuxedo, I thought he's a proper horse.
Okay, well this is over the mile, so how do you see them setting up the pit space here, speed I should say here, boys?
Yeah, obviously dealt with it. There's only one option. They have to lead. They're not going to do anything different. Look, he gets a little bit hot, but I thought he was a natural leader. Bowl Sand will probably sit outside him. Fun never sets. Good draw. They'll be positive. Bevan Proof. Big improver. Blinkers on. Good maiden form. Prosegur, I've just sort of mapped a little bit tricky. I don't know where they're going to end up there, Craig Williams.
Yeah, exactly. I just wondered whether they'd be more positive with Yoldi, Leith. Did you get that?
I don't think so. I talked to the connections yesterday. There's that small question mark about the mile.
Yeah.
I think they'll be neutral. They'll ride him back behind midfield.
Yeah, and what about Bevan Proof? There's an opportunity for him to even sit outside the leader, isn't there?
I can't see them going overly hard. So, yeah, that Michael will be just somewhere just behind the leaders. He's lucid. He's got a back up from last week when he was unlucky at Wellington. But he's another one. He can jump cleanly, but overall, I don't think they're going to go overly hard.
The pressure's not here like the 2-year-old, is it?
Definitely not. Look, Tuxedo's got a beautiful draw. They'll use it as well.
Sweens, what about you? What are you thinking?
I agree, 100%. I think Bevan Proof has every opportunity to go and sit outside, dealt with. I think Tuxedo gets the perfect spot in the run, probably trails lads, and if they go forward with Yaldi, they're in no man's land, in my opinion. So I think this is the race, compared to the previous one where they find these slots and they probably sit and wait.
Yeah, they certainly do. Well, let's take you back again to some key lead-in, and we'll start with the Auckland Guineas. And Yaldi does win this race, but things got very interesting close to the post.
He's not the full package, is he? The blinkers went on him and he won. He got there, and I thought he was about to ping them here, but I don't know if his mind's 100% Leith, but he's a serious horse. It's a mass rose out wide, maybe a bit of second up syndrome and just a little bit of extra cut out of the track, but there's no doubt he's a serious horse. It's just a question mark whether mentally he's right at the peak of his powers.
I know he's a big, long striding horse, but personally I think he's more of a 1,200, 1,400 metre horse. They've got to get there late. Obviously he's been getting there on his ability. They'll ride him quiet this week, and I think it's definitely a chance still.
That's the main thing, what you just said. It's about his ability. He's got superior ability to most of these horses, and so for that reason alone, while he might be a little bit suspect, you know, at the longer trip, you've just got to respect him, and especially if they are going to play it like that, you know, give him his best chance of seeing out the 1,600 metres, then you just can't write him off.
No, absolutely not. Well, what about Damask Rose? We did see her, of course, in that, but also she's had a trial since. What did you make of this, Leith?
Look, I thought it was just okay. Look, Blake gave her he gave her a little bit of a hard trial as well. I know it's her home track. They've got to go back from the draw. Barrier 12. I don't know where she's going to end up. I'm not sure if she's going quite as good as she was when she won at Te Rapa either.
Yeah, exactly. She ran second in the Karaka Million 2-year-old last year, so she comes back and tries to do it again. Just a soft trial there from Kiwi Skyhawk in behind. Obviously, he's coming into this race fresh. She is a quandary horse, you know, because when you go back 2 starts in that form line, you know, she was winning.
On the tempo, I think she's going to get back on a slow tempo, and it's going to make it nearly impossible to come back from second or third last.
She beat Sought After, who was really good last time out, but like she's got to turn the tables on Yoldi, and maybe the 1,600 metres is your friend on that, but for mine, she's just got to step up a little bit. And for the horse who's been the dominant favourite for this race for a fair while, you know, she's a little bit suspect.
She's a really interesting runner. I agree with you, boys. I just don't know where to place her. Look, she came to the races off for a long spell and they got the job done there, and then second up, just average. I didn't really like that trial, to be honest with you. The map says absolutely not getting back. I think to last Prosegur on a it's very mediocre tempo. Look, at her best, I think she's like Yaldi. We know she's good enough to win the race. It's just there's a few niggles vision-wise and form-wise to say that she's right at her peak at the moment.
I've got her on the mat to be... Look, she's my 4th pick in the race. If she had a good draw, I'd just about have her on top. I'd just a question mark the tempo of the race.
Just one forgiving factor out of that Auckland Guineas was that they did go really slowly. It was a race where those horses who were on speed definitely had a big advantage, and she was getting back. But this sets up the same way.
I think she needs it a bit like this as well. Like if there's too much rain around, then I think that actually affects her performance. So if she gets a bit of rock out, hey, live TV, we can do anything.
We're at Ellerslie. It doesn't get worse than a soft 5 anymore.
Exactly. So if Wilco can get in good for, I think that improves her chances.
Okay, well, one runner that has moved in the market, and I know you're quite keen on here too, Bevan, is Tuxedo, coming off the back of 2 very nice performances. What did you make of the trial?
Look, he is going really nicely. Man, he's an impressive horse, this fellow. I saw him at Otaki when he won, and he came through the inside and beat a good horse in that occasion, in Island Life, who, to be fair, hasn't backed it up in the recent starts. But I did love what he did behind Will He Do It, and if you're going to find a speed map special, this horse is it.
Well, if Will He Do It was in this race, I'd have him just about on top. He had big weight, he had 58.5 kilos, and I think he was just peaking on his run a little bit. I think there's a bit of improvement in him as well.
Yeah, the work on Tuesday morning when we were there, Sean Ritchie was really delighted with that. Interesting on Will He Do It, we actually asked Sean Clotworthy yesterday, he said he just didn't nominate him. He didn't think he'd be ready for this type of race. So I agree, he would have been. And bringing that sort of form line is a strong upside for Tuxedo.
I think physically, Pip, he's one of the more impressive 3-year-olds I've seen. Just physically, he is a beast of a horse, and he's got the ability to boot.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the owners wearing their tuxedos on the evening as well. And then there's this runner too, Bourbon Proof, comes into it with really good form. He's a key chance in this swings. Yeah, look, interesting horse coming in. Clearly not too far off Bella Montagna, winning, beating that horse at Meta. For me, I don't know where to place this horse. It's not going to be in my selection, so I might let you boys sort of talk more to this horse.
I've got him on top. I love this horse. He's push button. Michael took he was drawing the inside gate and said, hey, listen, I'm on the best horse here. I'm going to lead.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be leading this week, but I can see the way he trolled up at Meta, he's improved since that race.
Oh, that win, that just gave me chills. I thought here we've seen something special. He'd run second previously in the Group 3 Bone Crusher with a really nice run, and obviously dropped back to maiden, so it was a soft kill. But geez, as a lead up into a Karaka Millions, just the ideal race. By all accounts, he's trained on really well since then. I agree, and he's on top for me as well.
Okay, well, let's hear from his trainer. Here's Stephen Marsh.
Yeah, he is a real up-and-comer. He's just had his final gallop this morning, McNabb in the saddle. I thought he galloped up as good as I've seen, so visor blinkers go on. I just think it'll sharpen him enough. But he goes into the race in great order.
He's come through that win to your satisfaction?
Yeah, very much so. He's had a nice quiet trial at Matter in between, and I think he goes in cherry ripe.
Kiwi Skyhawk's also been to the trials. It looked to be a pretty encouraging trial as well. What do you make of it?
Yeah, just had a nice quiet day out. I think he's a sort of horse, maybe a fresh mile will really suit. He'll... I think he's going to be better this time when he gets up over further, like he's going to be set for the Derby, but I just think fresh up mile, he might give a bit of cheek.
And Balsan's the other one. Another horse who's on the rise.
On the rise, mile's probably a bit shorter, even though he won at a mile last time. I just think it's going to be probably, maybe that 12 or 13 horse field, which will suit him. And, he's got to be a live chance. He's got up this morning as well, and certainly can't fault the way he's going.
Yeah, I think he is. He just probably dependent on tempo as much as anything. Up to the mile is a question mark, but if it's strongly run and he's got horses to chase, he'll run well. Yeah, he worked very hard the other day at Ellerslie early. Just did a lot of work that first 600 metres. I think back in trip, if it's truly run, he can just take a position behind the speed. He's certainly capable. He's a 2-win horse, and if he runs up to his best form and things go for him, he's a top 5 or 6 chance. It is going to be a nice field. He's stepped up his second start, but this is going to be another step up again. So he'd have to put his best foot forward, but he has improved in both his starts thus far.
He went terrific. I think we're peaking him for this race, so he's in fantastic order. He's going to take some beating. He probably wants a shower of rain. He doesn't like the tracks too hard. So if we get that, then he's going to run well for sure.
Yeah, she's probably our best chance of the night. We're sort of going in there with not raging hot favourites or anything, but her run on Boxing Day was good. She was exposed for a fair while there, and she maintained a good strong gallop to the line. She's another what's going to be in an even field, but if things go her way, Craig Williams aboard, he's going to give her a nice ride. She's a talented filly, and she'll run a strong mile, and she's up to them, and she knows her way around Ellerslie. So no, we're hoping she'll run really well.
Well, I expect a good draw this time. She never draws well, and it was a massive effort at Wanganui. Had no luck at all at Ellerslie, and couldn't get a line on that race at all over a mile. So that was that's the turning point. If she has another hard run over a mile, I'm going to have to tip her out after this because she'll be a bit tired. And she's still growing and filling out, but a real nice horse for the future.
Yeah, she's in good form. Another one that trialled here at Meta. Blake was really pleased with her. Would love to draw a barrier and just sort of lob her there. I suppose on face value, the Auckland Guineas was probably disappointing, but she got a long way off them, and the race never really changed from around the corner. So blinkers go on. We trialled her in blinkers last week. It sort of sharpened her up a bit, and it was a good solid piece of work here this morning. So another one in good form.
Well, he's a maiden, of course, Aidan. But he's got a couple of nice races, and we quite rate him. We've rated him all the way along. And I thought he was up there with, the better 3-year-olds we've got going around at the moment. But he's probably just immature. But Terry owns a share in him, and he loves to have a bit of a punt on everything. So he decided we wanted him to race, so we've chucked him in, and we've got a nice draw. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, on his day, he's quite a classy horse, and hey, he's obviously going to be nice and fit. Yeah, he's got the ring craft, and Kevin can pull things like this off. So let's hope.
Yeah, so barrier 1, probably might have wanted a couple more out. She hasn't shown a hell of a lot of gate speed, but I think, given the rail's going to be in the true position, we've got Warren Kennedy on, we're going to be exactly where we want to be, so she's going to get her best chance.
Okay, again, that's all the form done. Selections time. Who have you got on top, Sweens?
I'm actually going with Tuxedo. I'm going on speed. I opened the door for these boys saying Bourbon Proof wasn't in my selections, and they didn't even throw a dart. So I am going with the 2 speed horses who I think get the best rounds. Tuxedo in the trail, Bourbon Proof sitting outside the leader. And then the 2 quandary horses in my mind, Damask Rose and Yaldi, are both good enough to win the race. If everything goes 100%, they perform up to their best. But been a fan of Tuxedo, and Bourbon Proof gets the run.
Yeah, I'm on Bevan Proof. He's had a few good runs in strong fields. I think that confidence of that winning that easy maiden race, the form out of it's pretty good. A little bit of a tricky gate in 8, but Michael McNabb, I think, can be sort of just maybe 1 back, 1 out. I think he's the one they will have to beat. Dealt with, I've just got that little feeling that he's something pretty good, but he might just still do a little bit green at Ellerslie.
We're going to get a lot of questions asked with this race, aren't we? We just really don't know. I've landed on Bourbon Proof as well, with not huge amounts of confidence. Obviously, real respect on Yaldi Damask Rose. And yeah, I just wasn't too sure about 4th. I think I went Pro Segur, but it's come up with Kiwi Skyhawk for some reason.
Okay, so we know what Aidan's liking anyway. If Kiwi Skyhawk wins, well, you'll be like, I did have him in my selections.
Just don't blame yourself. You blame everyone else out here.
Yeah, exactly. Right, we do need to take a break now. We'll be back very shortly, and we'll be having a look at the Aotearoa Classic and, of course, the Railway.
That was the Bourbon.
Crescetti made the lead at the 150, shooting for 7th. He is in 7th heaven, Crescetti. Brilliant fresh up. He is a class act.
Yes, he certainly is, and he is back to try and take more spoils on the night, and this time it's in the Group 1 Railway with $700,000, and we'll take a look at the market because this is an absolutely mouth-watering race. I mean, just have a look at how the market's playing at the moment. Alabama Lash, $3 into $2.90. She is the favourite. There's Crescetti at $5. Doesn't stop there though, Sweens. You can see Luberon's moved in the market, 8s to $7.50. Any value for you in that?
Look, I'm a big fan of Alabama Lass. Crescetti's obviously flying. I'm just really excited about the sprinters this country's starting to present. When you look up in Hong Kong, maybe the best sprinter in the world coming out of here, but our sprinters are really, really strong. We look at Grail Seeker, obviously heading to Te Rapa, etc. boys, but look, there's plenty of speed here, but I think the first 4 will find their slots pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Does Vinny hand up to Sam, or does Vinny sort of push the button and keep her out? Bonnie Lass, I can see her going forward again, Aidan. Mercurial will go forward. Master Fay will just get a nice sit. And look, the horse on the inside, Crescetti, I think he's going to just be sitting there on a hot tempo, just sitting there, relax. Blinkers on first start as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with this. And the question will be if Babylon Berlin, because you know it's going to cross Crescetti, does that mean Crescetti's in the trail, or does it mean if Alabama Lass, I don't know if will she cross Babylon Berlin? I think that Crescetti will keep the trail rather than being 3 back the fence.
100%. Sometimes, obviously he's got blinkers on for the first time. Sometimes they're a stride slow. But what we saw at Ellerslie when he done his exhibition gallop, he looks like he's sharpened up.
And the difference from when they met last time is that was just a small field. She was a speed map special that day.
She was.
This time round, a bit more pressure, and Crocetti is cherry ripe for this.
Yeah, I think Crocetti, there's no reason not to be in the trail, lads, and you've got Bevan and Leith in front of you. You can just find that spot. I don't think Alabama Lass will go in front of Bevan and Leith in my personal mind. I think it'll just sit out, and then they have the ability to control tempo. As Leith would know, the horse outside the lead is the one that really defines that speed. But I think your horse, Bonnie Lass, will get a perfect slot. I think he can slot in, Aidan, 3-back 1 off and get the right run in this particular race if Mercurial just pushes that little bit further forward and gets the 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the 2 fillies. We'll take you back to the 1,000 guineas. Captured by Love wins this, but obviously very different here in the fact, Leith, it's over the mile, and we know the shorter trip will really suit Alabama Lass.
Yeah, exactly. Alabama Lass, she was a sitting duck. There was always that question mark, can she get a mile? She nearly did. She got beaten by a Josh Pass special, wasn't it? Look, she was game defeat, though. But there's, you know, Captured by Love, 1,200 metres, fresh up. She's got to be a top 3 chance as well.
Got to be a chance. She's such a class horse. She's won 5 of 10. She's never been out of the money. And there was maybe suggestions that Alabama Lass was in the wrong part of the track. Well, Captured by Love's come back on her inside and beaten her. So, yeah, maybe it's 1,200 against 1,600 metres, but... Yeah, I really like them both. I think they're two really good fillies, and doesn't it add another dimension to this railway?
It does. It's great with the Telegraph. It being 2 weeks ago as well. It's a great lead up into this race. Great programming. But yeah, like you said, Captured by Love gets down to that 52.5 kilos. Craig Williams on as well.
Well, the speed horse out of those two, for me, is Alabama Lass. So, do you think she'll ever run a mile again? Probably not. I don't think there's any reason. Keep her to the sprinting trips. I think she's got a little bit more speed than Captured by Love, as we've seen previously. I trust Ken Kelso 100%. I think he's one of the best trainers in the country, so she'll be ready to rock and roll. She sits outside. They dominate the tempo. I think she's really hard to beat, but...
Yeah, but so is this horse.
Sure. Oh, no. I reckon last time we saw her at Ellerslie, she ran out. She'd done a few things wrong, and the railway, they're going to be a lot faster. I don't like it this week for some reason.
It is a test, and they've done it before. Obviously, they've done it with bounding, but yeah, this is different because I think our sprinting ranks right at the moment are a little bit deeper than what they were, you know, bounding's year. You know, we've certainly had some great sprinters over the time, but this is, you know, we're in a real golden age of sprinters in New Zealand.
Yeah, and it could become a speed duel because this little mare, she likes to lead. Let's have a look at Babylon Berlin in the Concord Stakes. And as you said, though, Aidan, she really did map to get that soft lead, and she kicked away here.
I loved her this day. I thought she would win. Our producer Mark Wells was having a beer, and I said, I think I've got one for you today. It's Babylon Berlin.
Was it $1.75 this day?
She was shared 54 kilos as well. She was a handicap certainty.
Yeah.
Really.
Although there's no difference in the weights this time round, but it just shapes differently. Crocetti's come off the back of a fantastic exhibition gallop. Whitehack was terrific this day, and Sacred Satona very good since out of the Telegraph. Geez, you know, it's a good little affair. Babylon Berlin's not out of this, though.
No.
Love Bevan and Leith. It's just great to see a horse that obviously had its issues last preparation. They've been able to fix him, and she's hit the right position. This race, just a completely different shape to what we saw when last winning Pip. But we'll be there for a long way. Might look the winner at the 100 metres. Might look the 100 metres, and we'll see.
We'll see what happens. What about the Telegraph? Now, this is another key lead-in race. Obviously, Grail Seeker's so good here, but, Crocetti. Well, let's look at the track gallop. Now, this is when the blinkers went on, Aidan. You were really impressed by this.
Oh, it's just a super exhibition gallop, and I just love the way the way he stretched out, the way he moved, but also that Warren Kennedy was asking him to do something. If I see Mark this week, I'll be telling him this is the horse.
This is the best time he's got on the right leg as well. His times, he looked like he was cantering up the straight, and he's come home. He's come home in 33, 44, 57, and it's the first time his coat's actually, he was gleaming. I think he's got to be he's the horse that he will have to beat.
I agree.
Yeah, look, he's the one horse in the country, I think, gets back in winning form that we'll get really, really excited about because he was so good last preparation. He clearly hasn't been 100% at his best through this preparation, albeit he has had to carry a couple of big weights in the mix there, but he looks fantastic, and he'll be right in the mix.
That's about his preparation. Like, he kicked off on a wet track up at Ruakaka.
But he didn't get beaten by much the last two.
No, exactly. Like, but maybe he's a summer horse. Maybe he's a real, like his performance in the Almanzor this day last year was just absolute top class. And he was unbeaten. I think 7 from 7 at that point.
He's gone under. Taking him to Australia, wasn't he?
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt he's top quality and all class. He'll get every chance on Saturday, so I think they'll be disappointed if he's not 1 or 2.
All right, this time, now let's take you back to the Telegraph, where Grail Seeker was brilliant. But what about the runs behind? Obviously, Sacred Tatono was really good here, Bevan.
Oh, he's a grouse horse, isn't he? He's got really good top-end speed. Look, he tracked the speed as well. And, look, Navigator went past him and he just digs his toes in. Bonnie Lass went a nice race. Luberon, you just forgive, she went around. Look, Platinum Attack was fantastic as well. And he's a serious horse. Look, she second-rated them, in all honesty, on this occasion. But, look, just in behind them, there's enough goodness out of those remaining runners to be very competitive here on Saturday.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing how that track played out when they were winning on the sort of nearly on the outside fence. Look, Grail Seeker, she's probably the benchmark of all the sprinters in New Zealand at the moment for sure. But Sacred Satano, he's back in form. Just a little bit of a question mark going around Ellerslie. I'm just not quite sure if he's comfortable on that track.
That is the query. Now, what do we do with that Telegraph form? Because it was more about the horses who were too bad to be true. Like Waitag, he was nothing like anything like him. Mercurial, Mr. Star, did nothing. You know, he was racing against his pattern. And the one who was really disappointing was Luberon. But maybe that is track conditions.
She had a heart flip as well. Yeah. So, to come out of the race.
Her prior form was top class. Her win at Rotorua was just brilliant. She just said, well, I'm the best. And then she came out and won at Counties in the bowl fantastically as well. So it's a quandary race. You know, Sacred Satona was really good. Skillwolf was terrific, looking towards the Westbury later on.
All those horses have the hard trip down there too on the travel, so they've got to back up 2 weeks later. It's a little bit of a question mark on a couple of them, I think.
Yeah, Luberon was a little bit back to her own old self behind the gates and got herself worked up, and like it just didn't look good before they jumped away, and then the performance sort of suggested there was something seriously wrong, because I thought her sprinting performance to win prior to that was the best sprinting performance of the season to that point. So don't be surprised if Luberon bounces back on Saturday.
Yeah, we're just adding to the puzzle. It's such a hard race. Let's hear from some connections. We'll start with Ken Kelso, and Aidan just asked what her lead-up's been like into this race.
Yeah, no, very happy. I thought her trial at Matamata was good. She's done everything right. She's fantastic in the feed bin. She's seems bright and happy. So, no, we're quite happy going into this.
Going terrific. I thought his run in the Telegraph was good. Just got caught wide. But it was still nice to the line, even on an off track. I think Ellerslie will suit him more. Needs a good track, but it's going to be a ripper field. It's he's going to have to be right on his game and even a little bit better.
Yeah, well, if she's on top of her game, you know, she's a good mare and she'll run time. So I have no doubt that they'll know she's here.
Yeah, really good. Look, we had a bit of a blip down there at Tarapa, slow recovery, down in the worst of the ground. You know, travelling that far from home might have just caught him up with him a little bit. But back around the corner, back at Ellerslie, his run pre to Wellington was super. If he mimics that, he's going to be close. You know, he's one of these sort of horses that's always competitive at this grade. We think we've got him right, and he's going very well. He looks great in conditions. So there's a good gallop there on Saturday.
Worked up nice this morning. You know, her run at Wellington was very good. A much improved run, and in the worst of the ground too. So anyone that was on the inside didn't probably go quite as well as her. So I was very happy with that.
Yeah, she's in good form. She's freshened up well since Riccarton. I thought her trial there the other day at Matamata for Blake was really good. We gave her a good solid hit out. She certainly needed it, had a good blow afterwards, but she stripped a lot fitter. Her work here this morning was really good in company. Opie rode her this morning and was really pleased with her. So the blinkers will go on Karaka Million night. We think that'll sharpen her up back to the 1200. Sort of Opie's worked her a lot throughout her whole campaign. We've always sort of thought blinkers, but going up to the mile we haven't utilised them, so now's a good chance. It's going to come up a very good field, we think. There's obviously Alabama Lass and then a couple of really good older, weight for age sprinters there. So it's going to be an interesting race, but we're happy with it.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And Bevan, as we get to you for your selections, I have a feeling you're with the little filly.
I think she'll be too quick, I really do. Alabama Lass, I think I'll even go with her, my best bet on the night, Alabama Lass. I think she'll be too quick. She finds the rail, she's lightning fast. Crescetti, Major Danger. The real smoky in the race for me is Master Fay. He did a bit of work yesterday. Of course, he was brilliant on this night 12 months ago. He's had a couple of trials in. Just think he might put up a run. And outside of that, I've got Mercurial in, but I think that might be my own mistake as well. I thought captured by lovely people on the
Not going to say anything. Not going to say anything.
No, at least I blame myself.
Well,
what are you doing?
I'm with Dino. Do you know who Dino is?
I'm picking that Crucetti.
Well done, hey,
Your
Rod.
rider report, you
I think the blinkers on this week. You're going to see the real Dino. He's going to stand up, and I can see him winning this week. Waitek put a line for that last run. He's a proven weight per age horse. He's got 58.5. I know the set weights and penalties. He's got a bad gate, but he'll be flashing home, especially with the tempo. Third, found a spot for Babylon Berlin. She might probably lead or sit outside leader. I've taken the favourite off my ticket, and I've got Capture by Love in for fourth.
Good. I'm with you. I'm going Crucetti. I think Dino's after the singer, isn't it? Back from the 60s days, whatever. Yeah. Anyhow, Exhibition Gallop was great, and I just love the way he's prepped for this one. So I'm with him. Danger. I just got to respect what Ella Bappenlass is doing. She's fast, and then I've got Babylon Berlin, Sacred Satone. I wanted to find a spot for Bonnie. I really did.
Where is Bonnie? Where's she gone? I don't know.
She's going okay. I don't think she's going that badly. She's only just been pipped by Platinum Attack and Skewer from the line of the Telegraph when she come to the end of it. I think she'll be a whole lot better for that, and she should have won this race last year.
Yeah, I remember the day you told me she wasn't a spring horse, she was a summer horse, aren't we in summer?
We're summertime. I think this is stronger than last year. I had her in front of all those horses like Dragon Leap, Waitek last year, Mercurial.
When was the last time a 6-year-old mare won the Railway?
Yeah, maybe a little while ago.
Yeah.
Maybe on Saturday.
Maybe on.
Jeez, we've only got so much time in the show, come on.
Let's move on to the listed Aotearoa Classic now, and it does feature Orchestral. She's very clearly cut favourite here, 235 out to 245, outside of her Bourbon Empress, who's in great form, $4.50 into $4. That's how the market is currently playing. Let's take you back to her, obviously, over the 1,400 metres not that long ago, or the mile, sorry, where she won here. And this was what her quality was and what she can do, Leith.
Yeah, exactly, Pip. And if she's anywhere near this form as last year, she'll be winning, I'm picking. Look, her fresh up run, she had 60 kilos. On face value, it looked a little bit disappointing, but 60 kilos, they went so slow up front. It was a sprint home, but her best part of the work was past the winning post. Roger James, Robert Wellwood, they'll have a spot on for this race this week.
Yeah, she's not the type of horse who's just going to pick up in a four-horse racer and run those, the 32s home. So that's not her. She's won 2 or 3 second up. She'll be a whole lot sharper for that. She draws beautifully. She's clearly the horse to beat on quality. If she's anything near like her best, and by the sound of it, the stable are saying that she is, then you got to have her.
I don't even know why we're talking about the previous race, really. It's almost irrelevant in the form line because she had no opportunity to be winning this race, and it was a 4-horse race. It's just completely irrelevant. I think the key is if Roger says she's still got a will for racing, she looks almost impossible to beat in this race. If her best turns up, she'll win.
Yeah, absolutely she will. Well, let's have a look at her main rivals, though, and we'll take you back to this race. Quite a few of them coming out of it, but Bourbon Empress was really good here, Leith.
Yeah, really good, Pip. She had a pretty tough run. She was drawn out. She's had a trial since then. Matt Cartwright's got a really good record with her as well. And the barrier 12 is a little bit tricky. But look, she's a filly she's on the up, and she does love Ellerslie.
Yeah, geez, unlucky too. Right back on the inside, what you wish for. A little bit unlucky. Mary Shan just never got to go.
No.
Never got to go. So
what seems terrible.
Yeah, maybe like.
We're going to spend 10 minutes here.
Instructions weren't so good. She needs to be just. He needs to be just ridden a little bit colder. Do you think that?
I think so. Craig Williams on barrier 6. But if it wasn't $1 million race, he'd probably be in the paddock. But hey, we're throwing it at the dice.
We know he's got the quality.
I don't think he's out of it. Mary Shan's a Speedmax special Pip in this race.
Okay,
Definitely.
well, I know you want to get on with it because you're just going to put Orchestra on top, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope she wins because we've sort of gone through this run lately of a great horse in Savagely. We've had a great horse in Grail Seeker win the sprint, and then we sort of like a Lucy really stamp herself down at that carnival. So we want to see our very best back in form. So Orchestra on top for me. I think it's pretty clear Bourbon Empress, but he will have to come from a long way off them in my particular map. Mary Shan gets the perfect trip, and I saw a bit of work out of stock for Chad with the blinkers on back from 2,000 metres. I'm putting that in for fourth.
Yeah, I'm on Orchestral. It'd be great to see her back. Obviously won the 3-year-old race last year. Barrier 3 is a big plus, and I wasn't disappointed on that last run. I think she'll be winning, and winning pretty easy. I thought Bourbon Empress was probably my second selection. Just that draw's a little bit tricky in barrier 12. What's in for fourth? Hopefully I'm wrong. You can get a little bit closer than that, but yeah, Mary Shan and what's in. He's got to improve on his last run for sure.
Yeah, I'm not rocking the boat here. I'm going with Orchestra. I love her, and hopefully we do see the best of her. Bevan Empress going really well. Mary Shan. The horse that we haven't spoken about here, Ravello. Well, I spoke to John O'Shea at the sales yesterday. He gave me a really strong push. He said that last effort at Wyong, they were happy. Contested Group 1s in Sydney. He's not here just for a holiday either. I think Ravello is maybe in one of the value plays of the day.
What do you think of the 245? She hadn't gone around a 4-horse race, 60 kilos, sit and sprint. She'd be $1.70, wouldn't she?
I disagree. No, I don't know. If she was coming here fresh up into this race,
if it wasn't a race that sort of programmed at 60 kilos, 4 horses, sit and sprint, it's bigger field with a bit more tempo. She hit the line. Yeah, it served its purpose. What I'm saying is she's probably getting okay at 245.
Yeah, there's 2 disappointing runs in Flemington and Melbourne. So I'm happy with 245.
All right, let's leave it there. We really do need to get to a break. Sweens, you just whoop, and we'll be back very shortly. We've got 2 more big races, of course, to have a look at off the other side.
Clear in front from Farrellione, out wide Maria Farina and Lark Creek Lake, but Belclear shut the gate. That's a sentimental win there for Belclear. Belclear won a sentimental win for the Lisa Latter trained Belclear.
Belclear, and of course she is back on Kiwi soil trying to take out another race on Karaka Million night as we take a look at the market for the Westbury, and here she is right in it as well. The Westbury Classic, Belclear 330, just pushing slightly to 370. Skewith, money for her now $6.50 into $4.80, and then you've got the Australian Raider Consana there at $5.50. Leith, do you like anything as far as value in that market?
Yeah, I think Consana's an interesting runner for me. Chris Waller, it's the first time he's bought a horse to New Zealand for a long time, and he'll have it peaking for this race on Saturday.
Agree.
Farrellione, when does it ever get any respect in the market? It ran second last year to Belclear. I think it's just going as well as it was last year, going to the race close up behind Maricheri Molly. And my map, it'll get the perfect spot for me. So never gets any respect, this horse in the market, and it deserves a big one.
Ran second to Grail Seeker at a Telegraph.
Yeah, I mean, what does Josh have to do with this horse?
Yeah, Grail Seeker's won a Telegraph, so yeah.
Well, we'll just keep taking the nice price as we take you back to a key lead, and this is a trial, of course, Belclear, Blissful Bell. How did you assess this, Sweens?
Like mediocre, but she's done a lot. She's come back. She's still, for me, the benchmark, because does she get over boys and lead? And if she leads, like, she's so dangerous. The one thing is there's a lot of speed in this race. The Town Cry there, Ecorello, Bristol Bell's there, and the Chateau Valley also with speed. So it's interesting.
It is. Look, she's had 2 starts at Ellerslie, 2 wins as well, Belclear, and it's great. Bjorn Baker had her in Sydney, and she gets returned to Lisa Latter. Great for the owners as well.
Absolutely it is, but you start asking, how much is too much? You know, she's been to Perth, she's been to Sydney, a couple of Group 2s there, New Zealand. I don't know, maybe it's going to catch up with her. For that reason, I'm quite happy just to be playing a little bit against Belclear in this. Tell you the horse who's not out of there is the horse who won that trial, Blissful Bell.
She was
5th
good
in this race last year.
Yeah, she was unlucky last year.
Then went 3rd in the Group 1 New Zealand Thoroughbred Breeder Stakes, in behind Belclear, and a horse who's, you know, she was unlucky at Dopa last time out, never got to go.
It's at your peril. The form season, I'd like Blissful Bell, but the Belclear, man, those couple of performances in Aussie, they'd be winning this race, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that's the thing you've got to compare when you take into account Conasana, is how does that Sydney form equate? And obviously Belclear's is superior, but who's coming in with a better prep?
Yeah, that's the big question mark. What about this one? Of course, Tony Pike's runner at Corello. She had this race put on January the 12th, and she was very good on this occasion, Leith.
Yeah, it was a pretty good ride by Michael McNaig. Jumped outside leader, slam on the mankers, and it sprint home. So, look, she had to win from where she was. Look, she likes Ellerslie. She's going to be up on the speed. I can't have her in my top 4, though, sorry, this week.
Form's excellent, though. Has won 3 of her last 5, including this one, when she does beat home a race rival and Pour the Wine. When second 2 starts back, that was in behind Provence in the Royal Descent. Now, Provence has gone on to be a Group 1 winner, beat home Malt Time and Preview in that race, so no knock on Corella's form.
I think Never holds the key to the tempo in this race because he's on a speed runner drawn inside, and depending on how much he works to the inside will sort of predict what the other horses outside trying to come across have to do to get into their forward position. So if you just watch them for the first 100 metres, I think Belclair's the only one that crosses, and then he probably sits in the track. Well, if is Farrelloni going to hand up a forward position as well once it gets there? I think Bristol Bell probably can't get there, but yeah, if he just, well, I think he will work in the first 100 metres. Not going to make it simple for them to get across and get cover in front.
All right, we'll put your money on the table, Spence. Who's the one you're liking?
I've got kids at school, but there's no money involved here. I'm actually going to go with the team here in Conasana. I just think if it's coming this way with Chris Waller doing the training off a last start win from a good draw, it should get beautiful cover in this particular race. So I have gone with Conasana. Outside of that, we are looking towards Belclair as a major player in this particular race. I think she can win. Ferry Lane, I'm putting this horse in. It deserves a big one. And Skew Whiff, well, we haven't spoken about Skew Whiff, but it maps to get a really soft sit in behind and can ping when 100% right.
Yeah, I'm going to take Conasana. I know it's the Australian sort of horse, but it's got owned by an Australian, trained by a New Zealander, jockey New Zealander, Roy Hutchinson. He's got a good strike weight with Chris as well in Sydney. So from barrier 3, they're going to go really hard. I can see a lot of speed in the race. She's going to be probably 3 back, midfield somewhere. She'll be hitting the line late.
Yeah, I had her on the trail, actually. I thought she was the likely trailer in the race. Very good win in the Bell of the Turf at Group 3 at Wyong last time out. Rory's had one ride on her, one on that occasion. She's a dual Group 3 winner. Interestingly, she placed in the Hong Kong Jockey Club Stakes at Flemington on Melbourne Cup Day last year. That was a race that 12 months earlier, Skew Whiff won. So there's a little correlation between that form. Obviously, you've got to respect Belclair and her form she's bringing in, Farrelloni. So I'm pretty much in the same boat as the boys.
Okay, well now let's move on to race number 1, the Cambridge Stud Almanzor Trophy. And in the market, Move to Strike returns to the races, $4.80 pushing out to $5. Poetic Champion choosing this race over the Railway and clear favourite, $3.10 into $2.60. Is he a little bit short for you, Leith?
I'm happy with 260. Okay. I think, look, the barrier 1's a big plus. He's had a look around Ellerslie. It was super impressive 3 weeks ago there. And by all reports, he's absolutely flying. His track work's been spot on. So, look, if he was drawn out a bit, I had a little bit of a question mark, but they were talking about going to the Railway.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's drawn 10 in the Railway, drawn 1 in this. Go to this race.
Exactly. Obviously, the form's outstanding. It's an open sprint winner here last time out. It's Wednesday form and winner of 3 of 9. You can understand why they're going there. The only difference is just that weight rise.
Yeah.
So you're going up.
Where are you? In any way, shape or form with this horse?
No, probably the 58.5 was the only question mark. He's a very small horse, but he's a proper little racehorse.
Right, we're going to have a look at him very shortly, but first up, let's have a look at this one. Group 1 horse, of course, Move to Strike, and it's, no secret that he's had his problems, but he's come back to the fore here by the looks, Bevan.
Yeah, they made him work a little bit in this particular trial, working up through. Look, the problem with him is you just never know how they'll bounce back under true race day pressure after his issues. I liked Henke Alpha more in this particular trial, just cruising home out wide there. Look, we know he's got massive ability. There's a slight gear change there. He's fresh up where he's a winner. His gait is good enough to for him to get a bit of cover. He might just need a bit of cover, but I just have to wait and see on him one race and just see where he's at.
If they go really hard, he's going to be hitting the line late, but just the 60 kilos, I can't have him in my top 4, sorry. I know he's a really good horse.
Yeah.
But just the 60 kilos, it makes it too tough for him, I think.
It's just whether the best version of him comes up, because he's a proper racehorse as he turns up in his best form. And he's got form around Poetic Champion and Archaic Smile from the younger days as well. So you got to put your faith in him carrying 60 fresh up off the back of that trial. And it's hard, but he's a proper horse.
He is. Okay, well, now let's have a look at the favourite for Tony Pike and Poetic Champion. Obviously, he was very good as a 2-year-old, and now his 3-year-old preparation very nice here. Leith hanging on well.
Yeah, he was super. Trial before this was really good at Pukekohe over. Look, he ran a fast time. Look, he's one of those horses. He's pretty push button. He jumps, puts himself there. Matt Cartwright loves the horse. I think the big plus for me, barrier 1, first race too.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these horses coming out of rating 65s and maidens. Here's a horse who's just won an open handicap and done it at only his 9th start. It's just enough about what he's doing.
And the second horse, Sawane Stays, it's a
really good horse. Yeah, absolutely. The query is just that weight rise, but like I think he's good enough to cope.
Just a bit. Like there's a lot of tempo in this race, so I don't think he's going to get it all his own way. And just with that way, I love him as well because I like those horses that just dictate their future, go forward, put himself there, and sprint home really strong. He's a cool horse, and he'll be competitive even with big. Leith's got the relevant point. He's not very big. He's not very big, and 58.5 is a slight concern, but lovely horse.
He'll get cover, won't he?
It's hard to know. I had him first, and then I had a lot of attackers.
I just thought that maybe they'd push forward with Thursday. There's horses drawn
I think
12, 13, 14 that have all got speed, so that was my concern.
Does that help Kitty Flash then come off the pace like she usually does?
She's going to get a long way back. I thought he was going to, from barrier 1, I'd say he'd be leading. Thursday outside. But, yep, I thought he was just about one of the bets of the night.
All right, Bevan, you with the favourite?
Hey, I'm with a really exciting horse because I thought there was massive tempo in my map. I thought they'd run this lightning quick. So I thought, well, we'll go with one from back in the field. I've been impressed with Hankey Alpha. I don't think you could not be. I thought it was a soft trial coming in. Gate dictates George has to go back from that gate. So we'll probably need that tempo on. If it's not run as quickly as I think, it's probably in a world of trouble. Outside of that, Poetic Champion right in the mix as well. And then I was interested around this Delio for Stephen Marsh and Nabra
nice
board.
Horse.
Yeah, I've liked what it's done, and it's 2 starts. And look, it's a bit of a case throughout the program. If Move to Strike turns up in his best version, like he is a serious colt.
Poetic Champion for me. I actually had him. I had him probably a top 4 chance in the railway. Obviously, the barrier draws come out. He's barrier 1. A little bit of a question mark, 58.5, but $2.60, I'm really happy with that. I thought, like you said, Hankey Alpha, I thought if they sort of go overly hard from the draw, she's going to get back. She will be hitting the line late.
Yeah, she won debut by 6.5 and beaten home Egyptian Queen, Bonfleur, both subsequent winners, and since then Ocean Miss and Adelante come out of that as well. So I've got it in as well for mine is I've gone Poetic Champion, Move to Strike. And agree, I do like Ardalio as well. I think there's upside there.
Okay, that's our look at all of the 6 races. Stick with us, though. We wrap up the show and give you our bets off the other side. Right now, the best parts won't be told, no. Take a little step into the unknown. What's my line again? Get ready for the ultimate... Oh, which camera am I looking at?
We'll dive deep.
You got it, Lee.
Don't laugh.
I'm not.
Into the 6 horse. Now
On the Karaka Million preview. What is it? Million Special. Karaka Million Special. Karaka Million Special.
Horses that are floating under the radar. No. The road to riches.
Oh, Thursday.
Start
Sorry.
here.
I got to know Thursday. I got to tell them what day it is.
The road to riches. Start here. Thank you.
See, it's not there. It's not easy. Yeah, and that shows why that never made it to air because it was very painful. They always do that to us.
I left school when I was 14, Pip, so yeah, blame me, but...
Oh, look, I was 15, so we can take that together.
Well, worked out quite good then, didn't it?
I did, you know.
Definitely not a Grammy in your future, you know, at least.
Well, you two would have went to university, both of you two, I suppose.
Let's not talk about school. Let's get on to best bets.
Let's get on to bets, Lee. How are we making money on that?
Conasana, Chris Waller. I think he's found the right horse for the right race. $5.50, $2.10 a place. That's my best bet. Look, I thought my next best was orchestral. Value bet, I thought was Daylight Robbery.
Oh, ran the other way. It's all good.
Well, you only went to school for a couple of years, so maybe you got it wrong.
I can't read. I can't read.
I come to mine. I'll chuck you. I'll chuck you. I'm going with Too Sweet. I found it a really hard night to get too confident about anything, but I want to be playing Too Sweet. The draws are just a body blow, but I just think that she's the class filly of the race, so I want to be with her. I love Crocetti. I just love the way this race is setting up for him, so he's my next best, and Value Bet is in the second. I think Ravello's a decent chance at a big prize just after getting that confidence out of speaking with John O'Shea yesterday. So I'm happy to be with him.
Well, I think you can be assured all three of us only went to school to eat our lunch. My best selection is, and I might have a bit of mud on my face here, I think Alabama Lass is too quick. I think she's a dead set 1200 metre speed machine, but she does have to take on some of the big guns. So she is my best bet on the program. I think Orchestra, she runs up to her best 245, is outstanding. And my value will be in the 3-year-old. I think Tuxedo is a really nice horse for the future, coming out of a trailing position and Kenley.
And I hate taking on the boys, but I'm actually going to go for the TAB 2-year-old Karaka Million too. To Bravery Born, I really like this horse. I think he's got a lot of upside and nice timing for him coming through that race. I think Blake Shin can work his magic, and Mark Walker did say he worked very well during the week. The next best bet, Skillif, I really like that run in the Telegraph. I like the step up, second up, so I like her as my next best. And the value for me, Yaldi, I just feel like they didn't really push him last start at Ellerslie. Blinkers on, think he can sit him behind the speed and pick up another win. So that's what we're liking. What are you most looking forward to on the night, Bevan?
I'm looking forward to sitting on the sofa with a cold one and watching all these boys work hard. I am actually at Wanganui, so we'll do that first, but I'm just going to sit back, relax, and just watch all the action, Pip, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I can't wait. Good bunch of international jockeys riding as well. Yeah. You're going to have to be riding on your peak performance. Barrier draws going to come into it. And I'm really looking forward to the sales on Sunday.
Yeah, and for me, it's Karaka Million 2-year-old. This was the race of this meeting in past years, so it's always, to me, still the main race. Great to see the Railway as part of it, but I've got a few boys coming along who'll share a few drinks after Bonnie Lash runs, win, lose or draw, but it is a great party, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely awesome. And here is how you can watch it as well. If you're not lucky enough to be on track, 11:30 a.m. we kick things off with the big Saturday. All the latest updates, so with myself taking you through that. Then, of course, 4 o'clock, Trackside Premier kicks off. Uninterrupted coverage from Ellerslie. If you want to take it all in, make sure you're tuning into Trackside Premier, trackside.co.nz, TVNZ Plus, and Sky Channel 504. So that is all where you can watch it. Thanks, boys. Been a pleasure to have you on, as always. Hopefully we've found you plenty of winners, and that's it. Bring on Saturday. Cannot wait.
The pursuit for TAB Karaka Millions glory begins here at the one sail ring to rule them all. Every piece of this place resonates with the echoes of excellence. Karaka is where history meets the future of racing, and no one wants to miss out. The great and good of racing descend on this city, and why wouldn't they? With the best stock in the market, we roll out the red carpet to this pure piece of land with the world's best green grass. It's the colour of money, the colour of millions, which will be won right here. The fittest, fastest and toughest will strut into HQ for 6 of the best.
Shut that gate, Orchestral has bolted in.
A race day so good the whole world is watching. It's the place to be seen, the place to be heard. An irresistible atmosphere, unmatched anywhere. It's prime time rock and roll racing, and it's ours. TAB Karaka Millions night, right here in the ultimate city of sales.